At the store the other day, we found a great deal on Mandarin oranges, so we are going to freeze dry some, and we're going to bottle some. Hi, I'm Jonathan.
And Kylene Jones, and we are the Provident Prepper. When you're feeding a large family, you look for really good sales. And the other day when I was at the market, they had these large bags of Mandarin oranges for only $2.50 a piece. So I thought that is the perfect time for us to try freeze drying some. And then we're gonna bottle some also so that we'll be able to compare them in two different ways. Okay. And now it's time for the work. All of the oranges have to be peeled. We want to get as much of the white off as we possibly can because that's what makes it taste bitter. But quite frankly, this isn't that hard. So what I've done with these is I've cut an end off each side, just a little bit, and then I'm slicing them in thirds and placing them on the tray. I think if we do it in sections, I'm not sure if it will be able to get inside and dry it out enough, but I think that this should look really pretty and allow plenty of ability for it to dry. Now teach us what you're doing.
Okay, I am just peeling the mandarins and sectioning them and putting them in the jar, trying to fit as many as we can reasonably without just mashing them in there. So we will fill 7 jars to do 1 batch of quart jars.
Always has to be an even batch, you know. Always.
That's right. So here you have it, some beautiful, beautiful Mandarin oranges ready for the freeze dryer. 7 jars ready to go in the canner. Still a bunch for fresh eating. It's going to be good. Let's see how this is done.
Okay, so this is really, really interesting.
Weird, kind of.
Kind of weird. So these are Mandarin oranges, so they're incredibly sweet, right? And they've kind of bubbled up and kind of like what the gummy bears did. But they're really nice and dry.
I like them though. Those are really good.
Oh, that is really good.
It'd be a great snack.
Well, okay, there's some kind of a, you know how Mandarin oranges have a little bit of, what would you, it's not tart at all, but it's a kind of like a wild flavor.
Tangy.
Like, these are super good.
They are really good.
They're super good. I almost wonder if we should package them up for storage because I don't think they're gonna last that long. Now, oranges can be bottled in either water, syrup, or in fruit juice. But we decided to put honey in them, just a little bit. And the reason why is because our Benjamins still won't eat any sugar. Normally, I wouldn't have any issue with just putting a little bit of sugar in each one of these. Not that you have to have it, but I think sometimes it does improve the flavor and it helps with preserving it over time. But a little bit of honey should do the trick too. You're welcome, Ben. Okay, now that there's just a little bit of honey in each one of these, I am going to fill them right up to this little rim with very hot water. Okay, we filled these with hot water, and one of the things that we want to do is just take a knife or something, and we just kind of want to displace the fruit just a little bit and make sure that we get all of the air bubbles up and out so that we don't have any surprises. And then we're going to clean all of these lids to make sure that there's nothing on the surface that might prevent it from sealing appropriately, because that's always a bummer. These oranges look so beautiful in these jars. Okay. Now these lids have been heated in just boiling water to soften the little rubber on the seal to help it to seal better. This is what they call raw pack because we put the fruit in raw. It hasn't been cooked. These are all nice and snug. And so we're going to water bath can them for 15 minutes for our elevation. Make sure that you always look that up to find out how long you should water bath can something for your area.
Our mandarin oranges are done processing, so we are going to pull them out and let them cool. Now normally we would be doing this in the summer and we would do it outside, but because of the cold outside, we don't want the jars to break, so we're just going to do this in the house. And they look really good. And this is one of the easiest things that I've canned recently. Getting those oranges in the jars didn't take very long, and they didn't take very long to process, and they really do look good. So we're going to let them cool, and we will maybe have to break into one of these and taste them.
We filled 4-quart bags and 1-quart jar, and then also these. Now, okay, these take up a lot of space.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah, so they take up a lot of space. They are incredibly delicious. And we are just going to be eating some of these because I think they're a really fun snack food. We also bottled 7 quarts of mandarin oranges. So we're gonna try both of those. So we tried the oranges just freeze-dried, and they're like orange crack. They're just so yummy and addictive and good. Here, you can have a fork.
Okay.
So the bottled ones, these had just a teeny bit of honey added to them.
They're good.
Yeah, they're fine. And then rehydrated. Hold on. Oh, it's not quite all the way rehydrated. Doesn't rehydrate well.
Not really.
Not a fan of
pretty good
rehydrated.
flavor, but
that's really interesting. So when I'm looking at my food storage, remember my goal is to take something that wasn't shelf stable. Those oranges would have only lasted a couple of weeks, maybe 3 on the shelf. However, by freeze drying them, I can get about 25 years theoretically if we don't eat every single one of them.
yeah.
And with the bottling, officially you can get a year, but usually we do more like 4 years.
Sure. If it's in a cool, dark, dry place.
Yeah. So we found
they should
that.
last much longer, but.
And now, so if we're going to use these in our food storage, there are so many really good recipes that use mandarin oranges. But the one that we chose to do today is just out of shelf stable. It's a mandarin orange rice, because I thought that sounded like a really good food storage staple kind of thing. We are going to use real peppers in it because we have these growing right back there in our indoor garden. Otherwise, we do have freeze-dried peppers, and they would work perfectly fine in this recipe. So let's get cooking. Okay, first thing we did was put some olive oil in the pan. This is some dehydrated onions that have been rehydrated. Whoa! A little bit much with the water there. Peppers from our indoor garden. You could totally use freeze-dried or dehydrated. And I would well, it's kind of a toss-up whether or not you need to rehydrate them, because they will ultimately become rehydrated with the rice, but you have to account for that with the liquid. And it's also kind of nice to have them browned to start with. So we're just going to saute these until they're tender. I'm just going to add a cup of rice. And now we're gonna brown the rice with these vegetables. And I'm gonna add the chicken broth. You can use shelf-stable chicken broth, or if you don't have anything else, you can always just use a chicken bouillon, but don't add any additional salt because that's pretty salty in and of itself. Quarter teaspoon of salt, half a teaspoon of the orange, or a half a cup of the orange, half a cup of the orange juice, some pepper. I'm gonna bring it to a full rolling boil, put the lid on it, reduce the temperature to low, and let it simmer for 15 to 20 minutes. All right, the rice is tender. We're gonna add the oranges and just stir them in. It really looks kind of pretty. All right, we'll turn this off. And I'm just gonna let it set up. As I was tasting some more of the bottled Mandarin oranges, they taste just a little bit bitter. Where these are very addictive and I just keep eating them like crazy. And I think maybe part of it, the comparison's not really fair because these taste like concentrated sugar.
Yeah.
But
true.
I'm not sure if it's the white part of the oranges or what, but all right, let's taste this. Because all food storage, right? We want to be able to cook.
That's good. I like it.
It's different.
It is a
Because
little
it's a
different.
little bit
but
sweet. It's more of a, I don't know, Mandarin. How funny. Mandarin oranges. More of a kind of oriental type rice.
Yeah, it is.
But definitely good. So how do I feel about Mandarin oranges being freeze-dried? I think they're delicious. I'm not sure that they're something I would work on my long-term food storage.
Probably not.
I think they take up a lot of space. They're kind of in the same category as treats.
Yeah, that's
Right?
true. That's true.
So, but that's my personal feeling. And it'll be interesting because we're going to try regular oranges. We have some of those to try too. And see if they turn out a little bit differently than the Mandarin oranges did.
A couple of things that I thought of. First of all, these are not going to have as much nutrition in them because they have been processed in hot water.
True.
Which has killed some of the nutrients. So
And all vitamin C, right?
these are all shelf stable. They're all going to last for some extended period of time. But these will probably have more nutrition, even though they're kind of a sweet treat.
They say about 98%.
Right.
They'll retain about 98%. So that's really good.
But
Including vitamin C.
I agree. It's probably not something that we would focus on.
Yeah.
But definitely something fun. And this is a new thing for me. Maybe for you too.
Yeah.
This is new for us. We're experimenting on all of this, and it's really been fun.
And now for the question of the day. What is your favorite recipe to use Mandarin oranges in? Comment below. And thanks for being part of the solution.